This is Amplifyou, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. So for those of you guys who have podcasts already, you are in the perfect spot because a lot of stuff has happened in the last couple of years in the world. And things maybe have changed. So maybe when you started your podcast, you thought we were going to be talking about this. And as you've gone along, maybe your business and you have kind of gone like this. And now it's time to realign your podcast with your business, refresh it and relaunch it. And that's the perfect time to do that right now. And for those of you guys who have been thinking about a podcast, out of curiosity, how long have you been thinking about a podcast? So all of you guys that put a 3 in there, I would love to know how long you were thinking about doing a podcast. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story, but it took me 4 years of actually helping other people launch shows before I even started my own podcast. So that's a long time. I know now why I had to wait 4 years, because I had to go through all the fears and all the things that I wasn't sure about and all the things that I see our clients go through now in order to really understand why people are going through that fear of maybe, not a fear. I had a fear of committing to one particular topic. So there were so many things I could do a podcast on. Also fear that the podcast was going to explode and get really popular and I wasn't going to be ready for that. I also had another fear of, using my voice and letting the world hear my voice. I also had a fear of the technology, or I thought I needed all of these things when really I just needed a microphone and a computer. So many things. And then that procrastination starts to turns into stagnation, turns into totally stalling you and freezing you in your spot. And I'm saying you, which I mean me, that was happening to me. And then when I hit record and started going, I was like, I love this modality. And then that's where we came up with this term at Amplifyou now, is that if you're not embarrassed by your first few episodes, about 20 or so in, then you waited too damn long to get them out there. So I'm just going to kick off the call by saying that and putting that out there. I was embarrassed by my first few episodes. I waited way too long to put them out there. Is that perfectionism got me into that stalling and got me into this perpetual, podcast is coming. So it's coming. Meanwhile, I was helping other people conquer all these things, but mine was still coming. It's still coming. And when I finally got committed to an idea and started recording the evolution that happens and the personal development that happens, oh my gosh, total transformation. But did you guys know that 85% of podcasts don't make it past episode number 7? Number 7. Do you know that? So for those of you guys that have a podcast in the room here, what episode number are you at? I'm curious to know. Lauren, Karina, Trevia, what episode number are you guys at? 115, 103. Yeah. See, that's awesome, you guys. Katie, I know you're getting started. That's really awesome, you guys. And Anastasia, I appreciate that you started thinking about doing a podcast 8 days ago. That's awesome. And I know you, I'm sure you'll have one ready to go soon. There's some great times, and 34 this week, Lauren, that's awesome. Way to go, you guys. That's really impressive. And so if you've already got a podcast, I want you to know you're in the right place today. If you are thinking about starting a podcast or you're not sure, but you're here to find out more information, and you're in the right place. And I know Dina and Maggie have already committed to doing a podcast launching in March this year. We've already started working with them this week. So you're definitely in the right place, ladies. I'm so glad you're here. And so our goal for today is to really think about what are all the things that are needed to have a podcast. Because when I started getting into podcasting, I didn't realize all the things that you needed to continue on once the show was launched. I was just focused on launching it. And so today I want to give you our 5 steps, the 5 phases of the Podcast Success Blueprint for Hosts. So we also do the same workshop, not the same workshop, the same kind of workshop. We do Podcast Success Blueprint for guests as well. And so if you're really into guesting, you got to really check out, we're doing 100 podcast challenge for our guesting clients. So Anastasia and I are working on that together. And so we'd love to see you over there too. But focusing on your podcast today is what we're all about. So for those of you that don't know me, I know a lot of names, but there's also some familiar faces here. So welcome. We like to say welcome to our Amplifyou family. I'm Michelle Abraham. I'm the founder and CEO of Amplifyou. We've been doing this. Well, I've been in the podcasting space for over 10 years. My podcasting adventure started when I became a new mom. And I found myself on the floor with my son going goo goo gaga, and my business brain went to mush. I was a busy entrepreneur in the fitness industry before. And when I had a new baby, I was like, wow, my brain is not working so well anymore. And I felt unmotivated and not excited to do anything. So when I turned on the Apple TV one day when we were playing on the floor and I found this little purple app, I found a show called The Eventual Millionaire. And I turned on this show and I was like, great, I can still be a great mom playing on the floor here, but listen to these business building podcasts. And I became obsessed with this show. In fact, I listened to all 100 episodes she had at the time. And in fact, this show is still going live today. It's amazing. It's been on for so many years. And I was so excited to put my earbuds in every day, go for a walk. And it made a transformation in my life. It turned me into feeling blah after having a baby to feeling motivated and wanting to get back into like opening my own business. And in fact, I went on to open a co-working space afterwards. And then I started consulting and helping people launch podcasts. And so it kind of got me started back on a path again. But I remember as a listener, and this is why I'm sharing this story with you guys, because as a listener, if you listen to podcasts now, you'll know you're listening in your ears. So in a world of time and attention, as podcasters, we have the most valuable asset right now. We have someone's time and their attention. And on average, a podcast listener listens for about 20 minutes of time. That is huge. And so if you could look at it in comparison to, say, Instagram, you're getting like 4 seconds of someone's time. YouTube even, you're getting 4 minutes of someone's time. Facebook, I think it's around like 30 seconds or something. Not a lot of time, but on podcasting, because they can put us in their ears and literally in their head, take us for a walk, go to the gym, drive your car, whatever you need to do. They're able to take us with them as the podcast host. So our message is getting into their heads while they're going about doing their day. It's not interruption marketing. They're coming to us. We've attracted them to our show. And they're choosing to listen and choosing to have us as part of their day. It's a very different place than that interruption marketing as you're scrolling through the podcasts, scrolling through the posts on Facebook and being distracted, right? So I'm super excited about the opportunity of podcasting. And as you can see, it's made a huge impact in my life. Made me put my earphones on, get out for a walk every day with my son. I transformed what now I can see was probably a bit of postpartum depression into a new business and into some new motivation in my life. And if what made me get excited about the modality of podcasting was that if being a listener had that effect on me, I can imagine the effect of all these shows and all these great things out there that are podcasts now, the effect that they're having on their listeners and the lives that they're changing in the motivation and the inspiration they're giving the listeners is massive. So we wanted to be a part of that movement. We said we wanted to be like the Hay House of podcasting. For those of you guys know Hay House, you're in the right place. We only work with shows that are making a positive impact in the world. That's the world that we work in. That's the world that we love to work in. And so I saw that right as a listener. And I know now from a listener standpoint, how important it is in podcasting to have your message out there in the world. So we're going to dive into all the pieces, and let me welcome the rest of my team here. We've got lots of Amplifyou team members here today. So you guys can give a little wave or a little heart emoji. We've got Maida, who is our online business manager, is here. And we have Aroma here as our client care manager. We have Troy, who's our podcast launch master. And we have Braden, who is our podcast coach and all things getting you ready to go. So Troy and Braden are their big, huge huge part of our team that will help you and walk you through. What we do at Amplifyou is we help you launch your show. But not only do we help you launch a show, we help you align your show with your business so that it all works together. So you're able to monetize your business, monetize your podcast, and use it as a tool to grow your business, which is different than a lot of the other places out here in the podcasting space. They're looking at monetizing through sponsorship and download numbers. And though those are important, there's a whole other way of looking at your podcast that we help you align it with your business. And then Troy is going to take your podcast and syndicate it out into the world to hundreds of places. And he's going to align it with your website and connect it all together so that every time you publish, it goes out to all the places. And he's going to make sure that all the technology and all the behind the scenes places are all ready to get going. So I'm going to toss it over to Braden so he can officially introduce himself. And also, Braden, I would just love for you to share with people your brilliance is in that messaging and marketing. So what is it that you're seeing out there in the world today in podcast launching? We've launched a lot of clients in the last few weeks. What is it that's really, what's that messaging and what's that special messaging marketing kind of, I don't even know what question I'm asking, Braden, but you know your magic. You can come on and share that magic and helping people align with that right message. What is that ingredient there? I guess that's what I'm trying to find out. What's the recipe, Braden, that's working right now in the messaging alignment piece?
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Super excited to meet you all. I'm going to give you a little intro to who I am so that I can formulate my answer to Michelle's non-question by the time I'm done telling you who I am. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Michelle's little brother, so I'm honored I get to be a part of the world that she's creating. It's amazing to be in her vortex because what Michelle does is she creates the experiences she wants, and then she invites all of us to jump in and participate and experience those worlds with her. It is such a pleasure to be here. As Michelle shared, my work is to support everybody to go from idea to iTunes. So we take your message and we try and turn it into a mission. We want to rally your audience, we want to rally your clients around this message that you have to help change the world into that little bit better space that you're envisioning. And we're here to help get that message out to the world. In fact, what we're really trying to do is help get your message into a movement. Because once you really dive in on that purpose and you plant your flag, and this is how I want to help change the world, the people will rally around you. You're using a podcast to broadcast what your message and mission are, and it's going to attract like-minded people to join you in supporting moving that mission forward. I'm very excited to be a part of all of this for you all. I'm excited to be here and share any insights that we can. What we're seeing right now with podcasters is there is, the fear, the hesitation that Michelle shared of putting ourselves out there. We're wanting it to be perfect. We're wanting to think of every domino that's going to fall before we press the first one over. But the challenge is with podcasting and with anything, we're all still evolving. We haven't crossed a finish line yet. So we eventually need to jump into that race, and we need to be a part of that race, and we need to share our journey with everyone. The audience members that we attract are going to be the ones that are only 2 or 3 steps behind us. So when we share the current struggles that we're facing, we're helping them get to where we are. And sharing those struggles is all about evolving out loud. We're putting ourselves out there to the world with what we're facing and how we're facing those challenges in hopes of inspiring others to do the same. So podcasting, it's very impossible to be inauthentic. You can't really talk for minutes to hours a day without getting to the real heart of what you're facing. So we got to bear it all. And we're here to help you find that confidence and find that momentum to share your message with the world. And I can't wait to support you all in doing that.
Awesome, Braden. Thank you so much. So I love that you're loving the message to moving and evolving out loud. Anyone now, just after what we've shared in the last few minutes, getting some ideas of things that they can do in their podcast, if you already have one, for those of you that do, or for those of you that are thinking about it, has anything that we've shared started sparking a little bit of thought into oh, wow, well, maybe I could do this, or maybe I can do that with your podcast? I'd love to hear in the chat, guys. Put it in the chat if you've got already an aha. I see that some of you guys have already got a bit of an aha here, which is awesome. And we've got lots more to come. It may feel like a little bit of a fire hose coming at you today because we've got so much great content to kind of share with you. and go over with you that, we want you to feel like, we want you to feel like you're getting a lot of value today, but also maybe know that this is just the beginning and this is very like high level overview. And that at the end, we will offer you to come and have a conversation with us. If you want to go at it your own alone, great. Here you have a template, you have a blueprint now. You can totally go and do that. But if you want our support and our done for you services and us to really support you along that way, we have a few different options and we're going to share that with you at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to let you know so you can relax and enjoy the rest of the conversation. There's no hard sales pitch at the end of this at all. It is an invitation to have another conversation with us. Okay. There's nothing to buy today. It's just letting you know what we have, what we're up to. And then as we're getting into the new year, as I already mentioned, if you're not embarrassed by your first few episodes that you put out, you waited too damn long to put them out there. So along the same lines of that, so why not start thinking about your goals for 2023 when it comes to podcasting? And if your goal is to have a podcast get out there, why not start thinking about it now as you're going into the holidays and you might have a little bit more time, a little bit more freedom to think about it. You're not so busy in work, or maybe you're taking a little bit of time off. So that might also be helpful.
So I believe what Michelle is getting at is that with the holidays approaching, for some people, there is some space. There is an opportunity for us to take time away from our day-to-day and look at what we're wanting to create. So we're hoping that maybe the timing of this workshop gives us the opportunity to step away from the day-to-day routines and look at what am I creating and putting out to the world? What is 2023 holding for me? And how am I serving? What do I want to put out there to support communities?
Thank you, family, for joining us on this adventure. If you're ready to be heard, head over to mypodcastcoach.com where you'll find out all the tools and tips you'll need to launch your podcast today. If you have a show already and you need some help managing it, please head over to managemypodcast.com and the Amplifyou team would be happy to help you manage your podcast. Please also head over to iTunes, like, subscribe, and review our show so we can spread this message. And until next time, be your own unique genius.